like this.
The you are now is the same you I was in love with yesterday, the same you I'll be in love with tomorrow.
You still have a family, Mia.
I can't lose her.
Why me? Life is this big, fat, gigantic, stinking mess. That's the beauty of it, too.
I'm still here, and I'm crazy in love with you. Please stay.
Hi everyone! Once again, it's time to take out your library cards and put on your reading glasses, unless you don't need glasses, as we are diving back into the book adaptation universe. And just to clarify, in order to be considered part of the book adaptation universe, the movie has to state in its advertising that it is based on a book, so that would disqualify a movie like, say, Gone Girl from being considered part of the universe. So, let's talk about gimmicks. They can be the very thing that keeps your work of fiction from being considered just another one of those stories. For example, the original gimmick of Buffy the Vampire Slayer was that the character we assumed would die within the first few minutes of the story is actually the hero. And then we have the Hunger Games. In addition to using children instead of adults in these games of death, the Hunger Games also come across as a high-tech update of the Gladiator games of old. And then we have today's movie, If I Stay, which can be best described as a movie where the tragic, life-altering twist takes place at the beginning of the story instead of at the end. What is the tragic, life-altering twist? You'll have an idea after you see my opening montage. Welcome to Short and to the Point, where I review movies in 5 minutes or less, or your money back.
You gotta be kidding me.
Our story deals with Mia Hall, played by Chloe Grace Moretz, and her family going on a drive to see her grandparents when they unfortunately get into an accident, and this is when the film takes a weird turn. You see, Mia goes into a coma and has an out-of-body experience as a result, but that's not the weird part. The weird part is how the out-of-body experience works. Mia's comatose body is told by other characters that she has to fight through this, and we see that Mia actually does control whether she lives or dies. But if that's the case, then the story should have ended not long after Mia was taken to the hospital, as she obviously does not want to die, but that's apparently not enough to break her out of this coma. However, when she experiences a moment of extreme distress, then she briefly sees the light at the end of the tunnel. It can come across as forced drama, but the rest of the drama from the hospital sequence is pretty well handled for the most part, thanks to the performance from the cast. There's just enough sadness in their acting that we can tell they are obviously devastated, but they never go overboard. Mia is also able to physically interact with the world around her, and this gives us some sweet moments, such as when she comfortingly holds the hand of her best friend Kim, played by Liana Liberato, and some sad moments, such as when her wayward boyfriend Adam, played by Jamie Blackley, runs into the hospital, but she cannot touch him due to a door separating the two, and the fact that nobody can see or hear her makes it worse. However, sometimes the drama can get a little silly. For example, Adam is refused entry into Mia's room, and the way he tries to sneak into her room could have been handled better. And also, some of the music that plays during the hospital sequence sounds like it was ripped from a television medical drama. Anyway, the rest of the story is told through a series of flashbacks, which are awkwardly set up, but more on that later. We see that Mia is a gifted cello player, and this is what draws Adam to her. I'm not sure how I would rank them against other romantic couples I've seen, but I did buy that they are in love, and I did like some of the banter between them, such as one adorable moment when they use musical notes to describe what they plan to do to one another. And the rest of the comedy relief from the movie is fine as well, particularly what we get from Mia's parents, played by Mireille Enos and Joshua Leonard. Of course, there is plenty of angst in their relationship, but I didn't mind it because I think it's pretty realistic for a couple like them. Adam is in a rock band and of course has to go away a lot to his gigs, while Mia has to consider her own future in music, which could very well be bigger than her feelings for Adam. They do try to work things out, and while the drama can sometimes get a little heavy-handed, Chloe and Jamie's acting manages to keep one side from seeming more right than the other. If there is a theme in this movie, it's choices. Of course, there is the obvious choice of Mia deciding if she should stay or if she should die, but there is also the decision of doing what you love versus making sacrifices for the ones you love. It is not an easy decision to make, but as Mia's mother calmly puts it, you're either going to do it or you aren't. And that's pretty much what life is about. Choices. Now, before I continue, let's go back to what I said about the awkwardness of the flashbacks. Sometimes they have no setup, and there isn't really an in-narrative reason for why the flashbacks are taking place. Then again, Mia does narrate sometimes over the flashbacks, which suggests she could be reminiscing during her time at the hospital, but on the other hand, the flashbacks actually start before the car accident, so I am not sure what to think. It takes at least half the movie for the flashbacks to build up to anything resembling narrative conflict, and due to the lack of a narrative reason for why the flashbacks are occurring, it feels like sometimes they are just taking time away from the hospital plot. And the way the movie switches from the past to the present can sometimes get a little annoying. But still, I think If I Stay is a decent movie. Chloe did a wonderful job showing Mia's vulnerable side and making her likable. While there isn't anything special about Adam, Jamie does deliver his lines in a convincing manner, and like I said, I do think he has some legitimate chemistry with Chloe. Also, before I forget, I did like the music that Adam plays in his band, and Mia plays on her cello, as she seems like she is in a whole different role when she uses it, which I think anybody can relate to when it comes to doing what you love. However, I am going to give this movie 6.5 life or death decisions out of a possible 10 due to the way the narrative is constructed. Like I said, it feels like the flashbacks are just happening because they can, and I know they are there to give us character development, but they almost feel like they are from their own separate story, which is made all the more noticeable as they are playing alongside the out-of-body experience storyline at the hospital, which is the only thing keeping this movie from being your typical love story. However, I do think the film is worth a look, but if you see it in theaters, then just mooch a ticket off of one of your friends. This has been short and to the point, and I review movies in 5 minutes or less, or your money back. Now, if you'll excuse me, I am going to go try and figure out what movie I should see next.
No, try not. Do or do not. There is no try.
So, I will see you all next time. Bye.